We're denouncing the link with what's going on in there by Jerry Brown, Michael Bloomberg, these corporations, and some of them are the major polluting corporations like Chevron, for an example.
Hello, my name is Stanley Heller. Welcome to The Struggle. The Struggle is shown on over 30 cable stations from Maine to New York City. We start with news from Palestine in the form of a special announcement I gave in the midst of the Gandhi Peace Award.
And this is entirely unplanned, and I have to unfortunately add a note of anger to the event today. Last year, it was our privilege to give the Gandhi Peace Award to Ralph Nader and Omar Barghouti. About 2 months before we gave that award, Barghouti was arrested on a trumped-up charge, and that charge is still hanging over him. And his travel permit from Israel-Palestine was revoked. And to get anywhere, he has to beg or go to court and try to get some permission to do that, and it doesn't happen. About 6 months ago, his mother had to undergo cancer treatment in Jordan, where she's been living. And he asked for permission to go help her through this, as you know, very difficult process, and it was refused. Today around noon, we got the email that his mother died yesterday, and now he's going to have to again ask the Israelis for permission to go to Jordan, and it may not happen. He wrote this eloquent letter. It's on our website, right under the notice for tonight. Take a look at it tomorrow morning, and maybe do something. Call a congressman or the newspaper or something. It may not help. Burials in the Middle East happen very quickly, but at least I want you to know. I want you to know this is what they do to Palestinians, what they do to a Gandhi Peace Award winner. This is what happened to Omar Barghouti and his mother. Thank you very much.
Today, a Facebook post from a friend of Barghouti's with a message apparently from him. All efforts by Israel to break me have failed, but I am broken today because my beloved mother died, and the Israelis will not allow me to attend her funeral in Jordan. And on the same Friday, Israeli snipers shot dead 3 Palestinians in the Gaza Strip, including Shadi Abdel Aziz Abdel Aal. He was 14 years old. In Syria, defiance, massive demonstrations in Idlib, the last area of outright resistance to Assad. The people there are slandered as terrorists by Assad, a lie that's easily disproved in these videos. Notice that the flags they carry are those of the Free Syrian Army, not the black flags of Nusra or ISIS.
رسالة إلى بوتين وإلى دمشورة وإلى كل المؤتمرات بالعالم، النصر من عند الله، ونحن عم نستناهم على الجبهات، السوالف الزايدة والمو زايدة ما هي لازمة. اليوم الجبهات والمكانات اللي نحصل بها ونحفظ خنادقنا هناك السوالف الزينة. اللي يجينا نحن نستناه البيانات والسوالف الكذب ما ودنا اياها. اللي وديانا نحن على الجبهات عن نستناه. اصلا نحن ثورتنا مستنيكم لا تجون حتى نكمل ثورتنا والله يفتح علينا ان شاء الله. تكبير! بسم الله العظيم! لن نتراجع هذه الثورة!
Everybody from Idlib province is here. We have one clear message. We will not negotiate, we will not forgive, and we will not reconcile with a criminal like Bashar al-Assad. Mr. De Mistura, listen to the voice of the people. We all want to topple the regime. We all want Bashar to go. We want listen to the voice of the people. الشعب يريد إسقاط النظام. الشعب يريد إسقاط النظام. الشعب يريد إسقاط النظام. الشعب يريد إسقاط النظام. Listen here, everybody. No matter what you do, no matter how far you go with your weapons, we will continue. No matter how many of us you kill, Bashar, we will go on. As long as there is a woman, as long as there is a child, you will go down. I promise you.
We've featured Molly Crabapple's work about Syria several times on the program. A few days ago, the New York Times published a piece by her and Marwan Hisham about Idlib, and it included several of her colored drawings. It's called When Death Comes from the Sky. We'll link to it on the Struggle website. In the Boston area this week, 80 homes exploded or burned to the ground over a wide area, 3 cities in fact, and hundreds or even thousands more homes are at risk. Apparently it was due to way too high natural gas pressures. Power was shut off to prevent further explosions. So natural gas is the bridge to the future? Give me a break. This does not happen to solar. Solar panels do not explode. Wind turbines do not blow up. Folks in Bridgeport, Connecticut, whose coal-burning power plant is being replaced by a natural gas-burning power plant, should take this into consideration and demand that no such plant be built. Now to Democracy Now! Protests of a climate summit in California, hosted by Governor Jerry Brown. Despite doing some very good things, Brown also has approved thousands of permits to drill oil, some of it in indigenous land. Anyway, it's oil that climate scientists say must not be burned.
Hundreds of indigenous and climate activists staged a protest outside a meeting of California Governor Brown's Climate and Forest Task Force. The protesters attempting to deliver a letter, Ariel, you're a part of this, to Brown and task force members. Democracy Now! Was there, Carla Wills and Honey Massoud, right outside the Park 55 hotel.
My name is Penny Opal Plant. I live in Richmond, California, just across the bay near the Chevron refinery, where my family has been since the 1930s. I'm one of the founding grandmothers of Idle No More SF Bay, and we're here because of the climate capitalists that are putting forth these plans to make carbon trading a worldwide phenomenon. In this building right here, the Park 55 Hotel, is where the governor's Climate and Forest Task Force is meeting, starting their 3-day meetings today. There are relatives from the Amazon here who have a letter to deliver to the climate capitalists on the inside.
Hi there, my name is Candy White. So we're outside of this particular hotel because this Governor's Forest Climate Task Force meeting is happening with all these big leaders that recently took a tour of the Muir Woods here in California, and they're looking at it with dollar signs in their eyes. How much are these trees worth? How much carbon can we get out of these and sell it as a credit to somebody else so we can continue polluting?
They're going to send 3 people, including the Secretariat of the GCF, within 10 minutes. They want to have we agreed that the talk would happen right here.
Buenos días. Estamos muy dolidos porque estos programas venta de.
We are pained that these programs of forest offsets are being implemented. Whatever their names, Red Plus, offsets, by any name, are being imposed upon us without our free, prior, informed consent. In particular, in the state of Pastaza in Ecuador in the Amazon, the Governor's Climate Forest Task Force is putting 2.5 million hectares of the Amazon in the carbon market without our consent. We, who are the true owners and guardians of this Amazon, insist that we must read our statement to the Governor of California.
So we would like to invite 4 representatives into the meeting to read the letter. I would like to say thank you for coming to us in a spirit of cooperation and respect. Climate action is difficult. This is one form of climate action that is extremely important. We are also dialoguing upstairs. I am working with a governor from Ecuador. I am working with members of the Yurok tribe. I am working with governments. Governments in Accra. I am working with indigenous leaders in Accra. This is difficult. We are not as far apart as it seems, and we welcome constructive, respectful dialogue.
Special thanks to Democracy Now!'s Carla Wills and Honey Massoud. Our guests are Ariel Daranger and Peter Miller. Ariel Daranger is the founder of the group Indigenous Climate Action in Canada, Alberta, Canada. Peter Miller is with Natural Resources Defense Council. Ariel, you wrote the letter that you were trying to get into this forest meeting.
Yes. So we worked with Siriaku, the Huniqui representatives.
Siriaku of Ecuador.
Siriaku of Ecuador, the Huniqui of Brazil, and representatives from Mexico as well as representatives from Canada to come together and draft this letter. And the reason why is we're seeing governors and and so-called climate leaders meeting to talk about commodifying our lands and territories and commodifying what we call as the sacred. These forests and these ecosystems that they're looking to create and demarcate as carbon offsets are our homes. And they're not just our homes. Like, I come from Treaty 8 territory, northern Alberta, Canada, downstream from the tar sands, and I have a vested interest in protecting our forests. And in order to do that, we have to protect the forests of all of our people. And we really wanted to send a clear message to the governors inside that we cannot commodify the sacred. We cannot commodify the sacred and allow our lands and territories to be put into capitalist markets so that they can be traded to allow other corporations to continue to pollute our skies and destroy our communities' rights, sovereignty, territories, and ecological systems that we have relied on for millennia.
Peter Miller, if you could respond, and that banner that the people unfurled as Mayor Bloomberg was about to speak, "Climate capitalism is killing my community." Is people seeing cap and trade as a part of that?
Well, I think the real threat here is climate change, which does threaten everyone. And we need to be as active as possible, doing whatever we can to reduce the threat of climate change. I welcome active debate on how best to do that. We're clearly not doing nearly enough. And we'll look forward to working with Ariel, our partners, to try and address the urgent threat.
Now, Ariel, you couldn't get into that conference because you were outside protesting and weren't able to get in, but you are going to be addressing the main plenary of GCAS, that's the Global Climate Action Summit today. You'll be on that stage that people protested yesterday, talking about climate change and health.
Yeah. So, you know, this is a big thing. It's not just about challenging these capitalist systems. It's really addressing the fact that climate change is a serious threat for everybody, and we should be addressing it. But the problem is that these structures, these solutions, these false solutions based on capitalism and geoengineering and technology, fails to address the rights of Indigenous communities, which has led to a host of serious health concerns for our communities for centuries. Colonization has created a foundation where our communities are already in disrepair as far as our health, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And now we have extractive industries, and now we have corporations trying to buy our lands and territories and our knowledge systems as a way to, address the climate crisis. We don't want to be a part of these capitalist structures. We never had to be paid to protect our lands and territories, to preserve our culture and identities, and to protect the sacred. And now we're being bullied into being a part of these capitalist markets through cap and trade systems as a way to address the climate. And it does nothing, again, to address these systems of capitalism, colonialism that have put our communities in a state of disrepair for centuries.
Peter Miller.
Well, there's clearly been a long history of exploitation and damage that needs to be addressed and remedied. We do believe that cap and trade, as part of a comprehensive suite of policies, can help us to reduce the threat of climate change.
What do you think, Ariel, could be the major modification of cap and trade, or would you say get rid of it altogether?
I think it's a Ponzi scheme. I mean, I think it's a scam because we're not actually reducing emissions. All we're doing is we're trying to move market trends. We're moving market trends by making companies have to pay another fee in order to continue to pollute. We're not actually reducing emissions because these carbon sequestrations and offsets already exist.
Well, we have a lot to go on this discussion, but we can't do it here. You mentioned geoengineering, and that's our next debate. For our next segment, I want to thank both of you for being here. Peter Miller with Natural Resources Defense Council, and Ariel Deranger, who is head and founder of Indigenous Climate Action. This is Democracy Now! We're in San Francisco. Stay with us. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. We're broadcasting from San Francisco, the site of the Global Climate Action Summit organized by California Governor Jerry Brown. But the opening of the summit Thursday was disrupted as indigenous and climate justice activists blocked the main entrance to the summit. Democracy Now! Was there in the streets. This is Democracy Now! I'm Amy Goodman. We're right at the opening of the Global Climate Action Summit. It is Thursday morning, but it's not the normal delegates that are coming through. It is a direct action that's taking place outside. Over 1,000 people, organizers, protesters, sky and water protectors are challenging Governor Brown, the governor of California, who has convened this summit, saying this is Brown's last chance, not only dealing with emissions, but dealing with oil extraction, demanding that he, among other things, ban fracking. Now we see in front of us is a group of people who, well, let's find out who they are.
My name is Angela Andrade, and I'm with the Climate Justice Alliance, and it takes roots. We're holding the doors of the Global Climate Action Summit, and we're blocking them because the solutions that people need to be hearing, the world needs to be hearing, are actually here on the streets. They've always been in the communities and not behind closed doors, not with people in business attire.
Are you trying to shut this down?
Absolutely.
Tell me what community looks like. This is what community looks like.
My name's Thomas Joseph. I'm from the Hoopa Valley tribe of Northern California. It's the homeland of my mother. The homeland of my father is the Shoshone Paiute from Owens Valley. My people have lived here for over 10,000 years here in California. And we've seen the destruction that this land and our Mother Earth has received from the governance of this statehood, California. And we know that the leader of this governor of California is not the climate hero that he makes himself out to be. He has destroyed the indigenous lands of California. He's destroyed it with fracking, he's destroyed it with water diversions and with dams. We're here to say enough is enough. We cannot be bought, and if you cannot manage the lands of California properly, then hand them back to the people that can. We've managed these lands for thousands of years. We know how to be in relationship with our Mother Earth.
And talk about how you're connected to each other here.
We're connected right here with some lockdowns, and it says we cannot be bought.
Indigenous Environmental Network, and I come from Minnesota.
And why are you here in front of the Global Climate Action Summit?
We've been mobilizing, building this movement, not only as indigenous peoples, but building a movement north and south of people in struggle, African American, Latino, Asian, poor white folks, labor, our small farmers and peasants. We've been building a movement of real solutions, and that's why we're here. We're denouncing the link with what's going on in there by Jerry Brown, Michael Bloomberg, these corporations, and some of them are the major polluting corporations like Chevron, for an example, pushing a false agenda around privatization of air, privatization of trees, of the soil, called cap and trade, carbon offsets, market systems, carbon tax, carbon pricing. All that is just a distraction. It does not cut emissions at source. So we're here to demand real solutions that protect that sacredness of Mother Earth, protects our communities.
Warnick, Ponca Nation of Oklahoma. I'm a councilwoman, so I come on behalf of my people for one reason, because Phillips 66 and the extractive industry, the fracking and injection wells are killing the earth, the water and the air, and that kills us. I'm here as a mother, a companion, a grandmother, a great-grandmother, and a future great-great-great-grandmother. And it is the right of all the silent nations and all of my people to join hands and to honor the natural laws that the Creator put us in. And we're going to change the world. There will be no more oil and gas. We're going to pray it back into the ground where it belongs.
Why are you trying to shut down the entrance to the Global Climate Action Summit?
Because they're full of false solutions here. They're trying to buy and sell the air, and when they buy and sell the air here, it pollutes our people everywhere. They act as if the air stands still and the wind doesn't blow. But this is just a lie that Jerry Brown is telling right now. He's trying to act like he's going to zero emissions, when in fact he is going to up the emissions. He's going to double up on fracking. There's going to be more pollution here, and they're going to be in the same environmental genocidal process that we in the Ponca Nation are enduring right now.
Soon after the news conference, former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg headed to the main plenary to address the Global Climate Action Summit. He was introduced by House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi.
Please welcome the United Nations Secretary General's Special Envoy for Climate Action, the founder of Bloomberg Philanthropies, and the 108th Mayor of New York City, Michael Bloomberg.
Thank you.
Only in America could you have environmentalists protesting an environmental conference.
What's your name and what group are you with?
Cindy Weissner with Grassroots Global Justice Alliance. We're here part of It Takes Roots, telling Bloomberg and all these corporate heads and business leaders that our planet is not for sale, our communities are not for sale, our air and water is not for sale. They cannot commodify the commons.
And what is your name?
My name is Jahan Giron. I'm with the Black Mesa Water Coalition from the Navajo Nation. We're here with all of our friends at It Takes Roots, people who are actually impacted and at the places where they say these so-called wonderful projects are happening.
That's our program for today. See you next week at this time. I'm Stanley Heller for The Struggle.